Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm so excited that you're here, that you're watching. Drop in the comments for me. Let me know where you're watching from while I get this shared really quickly into Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs, our Facebook community. If you are not already in there, make sure you hop in there because we do these trainings weekly every single Wednesday at noon, and it is the best place to catch the replay. So if you have to hop off at a certain time, or you have questions after the fact, after the training, it's the best place for you to be able to access that. So let me know in the comments that you're here and where you're watching from, and I'm going to share this to the group really quick. I want everyone to be able to have access to this because I know times are different for everyone. So I am really excited that we are going to dive into Content Strategy 101 today, okay? So stick with me till the end. I've got some announcements for you as always and some action items for you to plug into your business immediately. But let's see, live training on Content Strategy 101. All right, we are in the group. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook on my business page. So let's dive right into this, okay? You're here to learn about content strategy. I'm really excited to teach you about this today. So it's really important I make this announcement first, just so that we're all on the same page. This is me right here, and Hurricane Francine is making her way through the Gulf Coast, through Louisiana, and right into my area. So if for some reason I cut out during today's live training, Wi-Fi goes out, internet goes out, who knows? We can't control it. So we'll pick up and I'll finish the training at a different date. So I just wanted to let you guys know that way in case all of a sudden everything goes back. That's what to expect. So thankfully, my family is on the outskirts of it. I think it's going to be okay. But with electricity, you never know. Okay. It's part of running an online business. So just wanted to give you guys that heads up. And if you are new here, I do like to start my weekly live trainings with just a super quick introduction of me. My audience is growing every day. We have new people coming into the community every day. So some of you, this might be your first time watching one of my weekly trainings. And one of the things I like to point out is that I usually don't teach you anything you don't already know. Okay. You know everything you need to know to run your business. Is it important to continue to educate yourself? Absolutely. But my goal is always to make things simple. So a lot of what I'm going to teach you today, you probably already know. It's already up there. You've already watched a YouTube training on it. You've already had a mentor teach you on it, something along those lines. But for some reason, it's just not either making sense or you're not sure how to execute it. So I like to give that disclaimer because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed when you lose my trainings. I want you to feel like you have clarity, because clarity and just alignment in your business is the most important thing. The most important thing. You could have all the tips and tricks and hacks and strategies up your sleeve, but if they're not aligning with you, they're not aligning with your ideal customer, they will not equate to sales. Okay. So I'm a mom of three, a wife, multi six-figure business owner. I've been in digital marketing for 7 years, full-time business owner, a little over 2. And I'm a podcaster, published author. So I like to just mention those things. I know, I'm not the only person you're hanging out with on social media. I'm not the only person you're probably learning from. So I want you to know that, I don't say those things to impress you. I say those things to impress upon you that the information I give you in these trainings is legit. Okay. It's not something ChatGPT taught me. It is something that I have learned through my own business, through years in digital marketing. And I've proven that time and time again with results in my own business. Okay. So I hope you have a pen and paper to take notes because this is going to be a packed training. All right. So I want to ask you something really quick. How many of you feel like you're throwing content out there, hoping it sticks, but still it's just crickets, right? When it comes to the engagement. And we know that if there's no engagement, there's probably no sales either, right? So let me know in the comments if you relate to this, all right? Give me your favorite emoji or a yes or something in the comments if that's you. If you feel like you're putting all of these hours in, day out, weekends, nights, you name it, everything's become content in your life and it's just crickets, absolutely just crickets. Okay. So I want you to kind of take what I'm teaching you today from a different perspective because it's frustrating. I understand it. I've been there. Even when I was in corporate and doing digital marketing for, billion-dollar companies, it was a learning curve. I mean, and these are companies that know their ideal client, right? They know exactly what they serve. They've been in business for years, but social media is constantly changing. The algorithm's constantly changing. People's buying decisions and how they make buying decisions change with inflation, with what's going on in their life. Your ideal client is going to change, right? So maybe I start business 2 years ago, my ideal client has shifted. It's not the same person I was targeting 2 years ago. And so that's going to happen as well. So it's really important that we understand how to create content that engages. Okay. So I want to change this with you today. I want us to really work through a simple content strategy that actually works. So get ready to take some notes. We're going to cut through the fluff. If you've ever been with any of my trainings with me, I usually do. And we're going to get straight to what matters. Okay. And as always, I like these trainings to be as interactive as possible. So if you have questions at any point in time, no matter what platform you're on, please drop them in the comments. And then I always come back and answer the questions at the end. Okay. I don't want to get distracted or off topic during these trainings. Okay. So I first want to talk about why it matters. Okay. Because you're following all of these people on social media, right? Social media has become really, really noisy with, a lot of chaotic type of tips for you. Maybe this creator you're following says hashtags are the most important thing in the world. This creator says hashtags don't even matter. And you're all confused. You're like, that one's getting results. That one's getting results. They're doing two different things. I don't know what to do, right? So I want to first explain to you why having a content strategy even matters. Because it's kind of like, imagine you're driving to somewhere new without directions, right? Now, most of us have, a GPS tied to our hip at all times in our phone. But if someone told me how to get, I needed to be in Wisconsin tomorrow and I didn't have my phone or my GPS or a map, I would be clueless, right? I would get lost. I'd waste time. I'd end up frustrated. I'd pull over on the side of the road, probably binge eat a couple snacks from the gas station and just say, I'm done. I'm headed back to Mississippi, right? So it really is that roadmap in your business. That's what happens when you post on social media without a strategy. You feel frustrated. You're wasting a lot of time. You feel lost, overwhelmed. You probably get in paralysis analysis to where you're like, I'm consuming so much, trying to figure out what works. And you get to a point where you're like, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to pause all posting until I figure it out. I'm going to pause all posting until I batch my content. And so you literally stop operations in your business. Maybe you don't answer your DMs for days because you're like, I don't even know what to say to these people anymore. Or it might be full of objections. A bunch of people that have problems in your DMs or problems in your comments, or it's a scam or it's too expensive or blah, blah, whatever. And so you're like, the negativity, I just can't handle it. Right? Let me know if you can relate to that, because I'm going to tell you that was me not long ago. But a content strategy is your roadmap. It tells you where you're going, why you're posting, and how to make the content work for you, not the other way around. So when we're looking at business as a whole, your content is one small piece of your marketing plan. Okay. Your marketing plan has to be, your offer, what solution you provide, what transformation you provide, your sales funnel, sales process. Even if you don't have big fancy funnels, maybe you're just using a stand store. That's part of your marketing plan. How are people actually going to buy things from you? But your content is your traffic driver. Okay. And it matters. So if you want to start seeing consistent engagement in your content, consistent relationship building, people actually in your DM saying, okay, I'm ready to buy, send me the link. You want to build an audience of people that you can serve versus just an audience of people selling the same thing as you, then it's not optional. It's a must. Okay. A content strategy is a must. And when you have a strategy, you have a roadmap, it's so much easier to get where you're going, but it also takes that overwhelm and that frustration out. Because right now, more than likely, you're so frustrated and overwhelmed with content that you're wasting time. And you've heard before, time is money, right? Time is money. So the more time you're wasting trying to get to that goal, that's the less money you're making and the more money you're wasting, because your time is money. So when you're wasting 10 hours a week trying to post one reel, how much are you worth hourly? Think about it. If you consider yourself to be worth 20 bucks an hour, and you're worth way more than that, okay, FYI. But if you consider yourself to be worth $20 an hour and you're wasting 10 hours on each piece of content you put out, you're wasting 200 bucks per piece of content. That means you got to make a whole lot of sales to make it worth it. And the point of your content is to drive traffic for you. And you see all over your feed these free apps, right? I see those clickbaity reels all the time. You download this free app and make all this millions of dollars. But ultimately, your cost, your ROI should be lower because the app is free, right? But if you're you're wasting more time than what your content's bringing in, you're losing money. Your ROI is in the negatives. So that's the first thing I want you to understand and really take a note of, is that if you continue to waste time, it doesn't matter how many sales you're bringing in. You're not profitable. Okay. So let's dive right in. Let's get into the good stuff, the key elements you need for a winning content strategy. I want you to write these down. If you don't have pen and paper, or you're driving and listening to this or whatever right now, you can always get this replay inside Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. And for those of you that were recently in my Views to Revenue Masterclass, we broke this down even further. But for today's training, I really want to point out the key elements. These are things that are a must. You have to have these in your content strategy. Okay. And again, a lot of this is going to be things you already know, but my goal is to break it down for you to understand it more clearly. So first and foremost, this one's obvious, right? You got to know your audience. You got to know your audience. And what I want you to understand from this is not just who you're talking to, but you need to know their language. Okay. You need to know their language. So when you know their pain points, their desires, and what they value, you can create content that matters to them so that they say, wow, she gets me, right? And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, well, again, Elise, this isn't new. I know this. You have to not only know what offer you provide, what transformation you provide for the audience, but what specific segment of people are you reaching to? So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're in the health and wellness space, right? And your transformation helps people lose weight and a 6-week boot camp, right? You still need to know who is your target audience of that boot camp. Who is the exact person, the ideal client? If you could go to sleep, put your head on the pillow tonight and have 10 people line up in your DMs, who would they be? Would they be a male in his 50s who, maybe isn't as active as he used to be, so he's put on some weight? Would it be a postpartum mom who's having, those, I don't want to say depression feelings, but those like overwhelming hormonal, sad feelings about how her body looks now? Would it be a woman that's, 50 that's going through menopause that maybe has fluctuated in her weight? Because if you don't know that very specific person, you can't speak their language. There's no way. If you post a piece of content geared at a 50-year-old man and a piece of content geared at a 25-year-old first-time mother, they're not the same. They don't speak the same language. It doesn't work. Okay. So it's very important that you know your very specific person. And a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to in the DMs or I work with are very worried that if they target too specific, too narrow, they're going to lose sales. And that is the worst mindset you can have when it comes to knowing your target audience. Because I did this recently in a TikTok video, but I want you to understand it like this. So you go to a general practitioner, you got a rash on your arm and you're like, look, I got this rash. I don't know where it came from. You do all the troubleshooting. I didn't change laundry detergent. I didn't go outside, whatever. And that that urgent care, that general practitioner says, well, it kind of looks like it could be this. Take this cream, take this, this Z-Pack. It'll go away. All right. You pay $35 copay maybe if you're lucky to see the general practitioner. 3 weeks later, the rash is still there. It's gotten more red. It's gotten worse. And you make an appointment with a dermatologist. You walk in the dermatologist and you say, I got this rash. I did all these things with the general practitioner. It didn't go away. It's gotten worse. She said, oh, this is actually, and she gives you a very specific name. I know exactly what to do. We need this cream, this pill, this body wash, whatever, and it will go away. And in a week, it clears up. But you paid that dermatologist a $95 copay, right? She's a specialist. She's an expert. She helps very specific problems. You have to think of your business the same way. If you're worried about narrowing down too much because it's going to lose you sales, that is the wrong mindset. Because when you know, not only will your content perform better and you're going to have a better result, but you're able to charge more. Okay. So experts, specialist copays are 2-3 times as much as your general practitioner for a reason. They specialize in something. They know you need that problem solved and they can charge more. That's how you have to treat your business. It's absolutely no different. So some things you need to ask yourself when you're looking at getting to know your audience, because right now you might have a general idea of, well, I want to help Gen Xers save money for retirement. That's too surface level. Too surface level. Okay. Again, there's Gen Xers in every walk of life. They have all different demographics, all different psychographics, right? So some questions that write this down so you can ask yourself this and get more clear on your ideal client. What keeps them up at night, right? What keeps them up at night? Again, that 50-year-old man that we talked about earlier, he's not staying awake at night about the same thing as a 30-year-old female. He's not. Maybe he's worried about job security. He's worried that with all this technology coming through, his job might become irrelevant, right? Maybe he's worried that he won't be able to be the provider anymore if he loses his job because his wife's been a stay-at-home mom for 30 years, right? But that 30-year-old or 25-year-old first-time mom, she's not worried about job security. She's worried about, maybe she wants to go get her nails done, but formula costs too much and she feels guilty when she spends $30 getting her nails painted. She's worried about, is she going to be the mother she always thought she would be because she can't provide or pay for those newborn photos because they cost too much. They're not thinking about the same thing. So you have to know what keeps them awake at night. And using terminology like financial freedom and time freedom, that's generic as hell. Let that go. I don't care what other people are telling you. What does financial freedom look like for them? What does time freedom look like for them? Again, that time freedom for that 25-year-old mom doesn't look the same as it does for that 50-year-old man. It's not the same. Okay. So get rid of the surface level generic language and start speaking directly to them. And you probably know what to say because 9 times out of 10, ideal client is who you are or used to be. You're just not being open and vulnerable enough to say that on social media. Okay. What do they need to solve their problems? This is another question you need to ask. What do they need to solve the problems? Because right now, and even going a level deeper than this, what do they need to solve their problems? A lot of what I see, and I've done a lot of content audits in the last couple months, is people, you may think they need your product or service, right? You may think they need your course to solve their problems. That's not it. That's not it. What they need is what your course does for them, right? So I know I have a lot of people in my audience that sell digital marketing courses of some sort, and you're like, oh, you're living check to check. This course is going to solve that problem. They don't understand how is me spending more money to buy a course going to solve my paycheck to paycheck problem? That's not what they need. They need more income. They need multiple streams of revenue, right? And the only way to do that is to learn how to build a business online. And they can learn through your course, right? So when you're producing the solution of buy my thing, you're missing the mark. Okay. You need to understand, what do they really need to solve their problems? What is the result of your product or service, the transformation? Okay. And how can you make their life easier? So that's another thing you need to be speaking to in your content. How can you make their life easier? Because they may be already trying to solve their problem, right? If we're going back to the health and wellness example, maybe they've done every crash diet. Maybe they have bought the gym membership, went for a week and quit going. Maybe they have ordered meal prep food from the internet or whatever. But why is your way easier? Why is your way going to get them results faster? Why is what you do different than what they've already tried? So these are things you have to know to put in your content. Your content cannot just be very generic pain points. It has to speak to them up here, okay? When you're looking at your ideal client, I know you've probably done this, like their demographics and all of that stuff. Their psychographics are more important than their demographics all day long. Okay, so really start to understand this. So number 2, this is the second part of your content strategy that is non-negotiable. There are core themes or topics that your audience cares about. Again, going back to our same example, that 50-year-old man does not care about the same thing as that 25-year-old female. Okay? It's your expertise, what you're known for, and what solves your audience's problems, right? These are the pillars you need to be speaking on. Say it one more time. Your expertise, what you're known for, and what solves your audience's problems. And this is where a lot of you get choked up because you're like, well, I'm not an expert. I haven't made any sales yet, right? Okay, well, you're 10 steps ahead of the person you're trying to help, hopefully. So what expertise do you have compared to what they have, right? What are you known for? Are you not known for anything? And if you're not known for anything, that's a big problem because branding is huge. If you're not known for anything, you're blending in. And there are billions of people on the internet right now. The last thing you want to do is blend in. Okay, so you need to understand, what are you known for? What makes you different? And then lastly, what solves your audience's problems? The result of the result, right? The result of the result. You have to know that. You should have, a lot of experts will tell you 3 to 5. I recommend you stick with 3. When you get into 5 content pillars, it gets to be too many things. You're kind of all over the place. You'll see your audience confused. So you really only need 3 pillars that connects your content back to your offer. Okay, back to your offer. So that is another piece that a lot of people are missing. They're like, well, I want to help, that 25-year-old stay-at-home mom. So I'm going to talk about how to sleep train her baby. Well, if you don't have a product about sleep training your baby, how is that going to make you a sale? Right? So all of your pillars have to connect back to your offer. So I'll give you some examples. Maybe you're a business coach, right? You're a business coach. Your pillars might be sales strategies, productivity, and mindset, right? Notice I didn't say algorithm or hacks or Instagram updates, right? Because that's not what that business coach is helping people with. She is helping people become more productive so they can make more sales and get into the mindset of being a CEO in their business so they can drive results. So what are your pillars? Write them down if you have them handy or if you can think of them off the bat. But you might, if your content's not doing anything right now, you need to go back and revisit this, okay? Because your pillars may not connect to your transformation. They may not connect to your offer. And if they don't make sense, of course, no one's going to buy, right? So looking at this, build your 3 to 5 core topics, your core pillars around your business, okay? Around your offer. And I recommend, I'll give you some other examples. So that health coach might focus on nutrition, workouts, and mindset, right? Nutrition, workouts, and mindset for a health coach. She's not focused on, I'm drawing a blank today. I'm sitting here watching the thunder pop and the lightning pop behind me, but nutrition, obviously that's important for, her health coach clients. Workouts, that's important for her health coach clients, right? Mindset, if they're not in the right mindset and ready to lose the weight or ready to change their life, their transformation of their body or their health in general, they're not going to stay consistent. Again, the business coach, sales, productivity, scaling, mindset, all of those things. But it has to lead back. You have to stay consistent with your message. Okay. And right now, if you are struggling to have your content produce results, to convert, to have engagement. More or less, you're spending time scrolling, watching people that are winning or are getting results. And you're like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that too. Well, if you do that every week and you watch all 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different creators and you're recreating what they're saying, then your message is following 7 different strategies. You have to be clear on your message, because if you're, whether you copy and paste it or you reword it, if you're using someone else's message, that's not going to resonate with your ideal client. It's going to confuse them. So right now, you probably are confused with your content strategy yourself. So then you're second guessing everything and you're like, well, this reel went viral, so I'm just going to redo it. I'm going to use that audio and kind of reframe the hook a little bit. And now you just put out a message that has nothing to do with your offer. Of course, it's not going to drive sales. You also might be second guessing that what you have to say is worthy of being heard. And I want you to hear me on this, because so many people that I do on a daily basis, it's a mindset problem. And I'm not a mindset coach. I'm never going to tell you that you're going to manifest $1 million tomorrow by, saying your affirmations. Like I truly believe in doing all of those things, but I also know that action is what brings results. But if you're not in the mindset to show up the way you need to show up with confidence, of course, you're not going to be consistent with your message. You're going to start using other people's message because you're second guessing that what you have to say is worthy of being heard. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it's very important. Very important. Okay. So the third element that your content strategy needs to have is the content mix, right? You want to balance your content, education, entertainment, engagement, promotion, all of those things. And you do that in a lot of different ways, right? So, objections, mistakes, misbeliefs, point of views, you see all of this, right? But think about it like this. Your audience doesn't want to be sold to all of the time. They want value. They want to laugh. They want to connect. So mix it up. If every piece of content you're putting out there leads back to your offer, then it doesn't really matter if it's an educational piece or an entertainment piece, right? You've heard that. Educate, inspire, entertain. I'm not the first person to tell you that. But not only do you need a mixture of types of content, but you also need a mixture of types or forms of content. And I'll get to that in a second. But let's say you're posting Canva tutorials. So every day you're posting a Canva tutorial, an educational thing, right? You're teaching people exactly how to do something in Canva. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to get stuck in the friend zone. You're going to get a ton of engagement. You're going to get a lot of people that are like, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing. But they're never going to buy, right? They're never going to buy. You're friend zoned for a long time until you can flip it, right? So this is why you have to have different elements, different content mix, right? Because if everything's educational, you're friend zoned. If everything is promotional, no one wants to be sold to, so they're never going to buy, right? They're going to unfollow. They're going to be like, nope, this girl is salesy. I'm out. If everything's entertaining, then they're going to share it, but they're not even going to understand that there's something to buy. So your content has to be a mix. You also need a mixture of forms of content, okay? And this is something I talked to my academy students about on our weekly call yesterday, but a lot of people coming into this space, I'd say within the last year, are very scared to do long form pieces of content. So long form being, TikTok goes up to 10, 20 minutes now, maybe even longer than that. I don't know. I try not to go over 6, 7 minutes. IG Live, Facebook Live, TikTok Live, like I'm doing right now. People are hesitant to do long form pieces of content because they don't feel like they're the expert yet. They don't feel like they're the authority yet. And what happens is your short form content brings people in. So your reels, your TikToks, your funny Facebook posts, that brings new people in. But your long form content is what people buy from. So doing blogs, YouTube videos, live trainings, things like that. So you need to get more comfortable with doing long form content. If you think about these creators, the names that are household names that everyone's heard of, Mr. Beast, Gary V. What's his name? The guy that bought School. Now I'm drawing a blank, but it'll come to me in a second. Alex Hormozy, right? All of these names that have been around a super long time, they started with long form content. They started on YouTube 10 years ago. They started writing blogs 10 years ago, right? Their long form content has built a sustainable business, right? So if you're only here because you want to make a couple $1,000 and then you want your business to fall apart, that's cool. That's cool. But if you want to build for the long haul to where you can leave that 9 to 5, to where you can have a business that generates sales every month, whether you show up or not, you need to get comfortable with long form content. Okay. Because it's more evergreen and it lasts. We know with TikTok and Instagram, these algorithms are changing every day. So right now I see nothing but people complaining about views being super low on Instagram, and they are. They're going down. TikTok goes through its little spikes every couple months. Long form content, you don't need to worry about that so much because it's evergreen. It lasts forever. And I watched a YouTube video yesterday that is from 2019. That video is like 5 years old at this point, and it's still relevant. So not only do you need to mix up the types of content and the styles of content, but also the forms of content. You need to show people there is more than just one version of what you're presenting. And you'd be surprised when you start producing long form content, you would be surprised how much faster you're able to build trust with your audience and convert a sale. Okay. So looking at this, balancing your content with educational, entertaining, engaging, promotional, all of those things. But your audience doesn't want to be sold to 24/7. So you need to mix that value and connection in. Keep them entertained and informed so they come back for more. And this is part of you understanding what makes you different, right? There's 100 people out there teaching you about social media marketing, but there's a reason you plugged in today's training. You might resonate with my story of why I started my business. You might say, I like Elise because she's a no bullshit person. Maybe you just want to be here to laugh at my country accent. I don't know, but there's a reason you keep coming back, right? Or there's a reason you're watching. So you need to know what makes you different. You need to know what makes you unique. How to keep your audience informed and coming back for more, right? That's the key to engagement. They may see your reel or your TikTok on their FYP, and if they don't follow you, the odds are they may never see you again. So this is where you get really good at that content mix, so that if they follow you on an educational piece of content and tomorrow you post something that's more engaging, they're seeing different elements of you and they're building trust with you. Okay. The fourth big key to a content strategy is batching your content. Batching it. And I know this is a controversial somewhat topic. I've seen a lot of large creators talk about how they used to batch, they no longer batch because they felt like it got stale. But the truth is, if you're ever going to get time back in your business, stop being on your phone 24/7. Stop pretending to watch a movie with your kids while you're secretly scrolling for an idea, right? Running into the bathroom at work so you can hurry up and check your deal. Like if you're ever going to be able to unplug, you have to learn how to batch your content. Stop creating content on the fly. It's burning you out. Frustrating. So instead, set aside a couple hours once a week to plan and create your content for the week, right? I prefer to do it by the month. My students in the club and the academy will tell you that we do content planning sessions every single month. I give them hooks, fill in the blank hooks to use. They can use them, they can create their own, whatever. But I want them to leave those calls with at least the plan. Because when you're just throwing it together on the fly, there's no way your message is consistent. And we talked about that in key element number 2, but your message has to be consistent. And so if you got 5 minutes between lunch break today and you hurry up and make sense, there's no way you could be consistent because it's not planned. It's thinking on the fly, right? So you're scrambling every day to figure out what to post. Maybe you finally get home from work, you sit on the couch, you're like, oh, I still didn't post my TikTok today. I don't know what to say. So I guess I'll just do it tomorrow. I don't know, whatever, right? It's like, what? When you can batch your content You could schedule it if you want. Some platforms I schedule, some platforms I prefer not to schedule because I like to plug into every day. But I got content I got 45 TikToks in my drafts right now. I could go without creating content for a month and be fine. So it's really important that you're batching this so that you can get that time back that you want, right? And the beauty of batching your content is you're always ahead. So when something happens, and it always does. I'm sitting here watching a hurricane outside my door. Your business will be fine. It will continue to run. My content is scheduled today and tomorrow because I very much think we're going to lose power. So I'm not worried about not showing up. I'm also not going to be telling my kids in the middle of a hurricane, shh, mommy's got to hurry up and film a video, right? I'm able to be present when I need to be present because I took care of business the first week of the month. But there's no way for you to batch your content if you don't know 1, 2, and 3. If you don't know your audience, if you don't know your pillars, and you don't have your content mixed together, how are you going to batch? You don't know what to batch. You're just second guessing it, right? So it's really about working smarter, not harder. And this is something that, again, I work on with my students inside the academy. We work on, rinse and repeat framework inside the club. We really focus on that branding and that messaging, getting content that converts. But if you can set aside 2 to 3 hours a week to batch your content, and honestly, the better you get at it, you won't even need that long. You're going to save time. You're going to stay consistent. You're going to prevent burnout. And guess what? You're going to see more sales because you're going to have time now to focus on what really moves the needle in your business. Right now, you're probably not doing a lot of the back end things, the workflows, the automations, all of the stuff you're going to really need if you ever want to scale to those 5-figure months because you don't have time. You're spending all your time behind the camera filming content. So you're never allowing yourself enough time in your schedule to do what business owners really do. Think back to some of those creators we just talked about, Alex Hormozy and, Mr. Beast and all of that. Sure, they have teams of probably 10, 20 people now that help them. But do you think as the CEO of their companies that they have time to film 3 TikToks a day? Hell no. Right? They set one day aside for the whole month and they film all of it. And then boom, right? It's done. It really is about working smarter, not harder. And the beauty of this too is that, and I teach you about this in my Sales Machine Masterclass. So if you've not gotten that, it's a free masterclass. If you're on TikTok, you can find it in my Stand store. If you're on IG or Facebook, you can drop machine in the comments and we will get you the link to that free masterclass. But, I teach you about this, but the beauty of this is when you are able to batch your content and you're able to stay consistent and stay plugged in without burning out, then you're able to execute a repurposing strategy. About 20% of the content I post every month is new. Everything else is repurposed. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's the only way you're going to get to those 5-figure months that you really want. There's no way you're going to be able to do that if you're spending hours every single day for the next 5 years editing TikToks. It's just not going to work. Okay. So you really do need to understand elements 1, 2, and 3 so that you can batch your content. And then the 5th element of a content strategy is analyzing and adjusting, right? And this should be self-explanatory, but I don't ever like to assume anything. The secret sauce, most people skip. Look at what's working and what's not working. And the beauty of this too is that it is just as important for you to know what doesn't work as it is for you to know what does, so that you don't repeat mistakes, right? Checking your analytics, seeing what posts got the most engagement, and adjusting your strategy. If you look back at the last 10 videos you created and there was one that got way more engagement than the others, you need to find out why. You need to know how to read your metrics. Was it the hook? Was it the value? Was it the call to action? Because your analytics tell you everything you need to know about your business, okay? And it's not just about throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's about being intentional and consistent. Intentional and consistent. So I look back at my videos, and I do this every month. So when I sit down the last week of the month to prep next month's content, I look to see, okay, what did really well last month? And guess what? I created again. I either repost the same exact thing or I recreate it because I know it's going to do well again. I have posted the same TikTok 3 times. Okay? About 90 days apart, and every single time it gets over 10,000 views. And views don't make sales, but it gets a lot of engagement. This thing, like, I didn't even remake it. I just downloaded it and reposted it. And I've gotten lucky because I will tell you TikTok's getting smarter and they're like, this is not original content. But if I know it did well, why not use it again? Right? But you, more than likely, you're frustrated because maybe nothing's doing well. And if nothing's doing well, then we need to go back to 1, 2, and 3. Knowing your audience, knowing your pillars, all of the things that we talk about, have that content mix. And I'll be really honest with you, if your content's doing nothing right now, no engagement, no sales, you're frustrated, it's been 6 months, you're ready to quit, you really need to go to 1. Because that's probably where your mistake is. You don't know your audience. You think that your program or your course is everyone's solution and it's going to, the floodgates are going to open and all these people are going to buy it because they're going to be as excited about that course as you are. And that is not the truth. That is not, right? So you really need to go to 1 and do some self-discovery on who is your ideal client, who is your target audience, and what do they really care about? Because more than likely, that is where your problem lies, okay? Anyone that's gotten a content audit from me in the last month will tell you that. I'm not harsh in the audits, but I'm very honest. And I'm like, they don't care. They don't care about that. Okay. So looking at this, what worked? What didn't? Looking at your numbers. You could track your likes, your comments, your shares, your saves. Maybe a video got a ton of likes, but no comments and no sales from it. So why? Why do you think that? Go to your analytics. Maybe you used a trending audio, so it got pushed more, right? Maybe your hook was good, and then when you started getting into the value of the video, it didn't make sense, right? I'll give you an example. So I recently did a content audit, and I had a video, and I'm paraphrasing because it was over a week ago, and God knows I don't remember it word for word, but it was like, I know that you are so exhausted going to work every day and knowing that you're working for a paycheck that's not going to pay all the bills. It was a good hook. It was a very emotional hook. And then it was like, that's why you need this digital marketing course. You just lost everybody. How do they know how does the course resonate with what you just said, right? So maybe that video got a ton of likes because people liked it in the first couple seconds, and then you immediately went for the sale without providing any value, any connection, any explanation, anything, any authority. Well, they jumped off, right? So looking at your watch time is one of your most important metrics. And now a lot of us are also doing, Facebook posts or carousel posts. Same thing. Look at your metrics for those posts as well. It's not just video. Double down on what's working and cut what's not. If it's not working, there's a couple things you can do. Maybe the hook wasn't good. Maybe it didn't make sense. Your framework wasn't well. You could try it again with some tweaks. But if you've done the same thing 3 times and it hasn't gone anywhere, shut it down. You're exhausting yourself continuing to do what's not working. Okay, so your content strategy is a living thing. It will grow and it will adapt over and over and over. And like I said, everything that I teach you in these trainings is from experience. Okay, I've done that. I can create a viral video right now that I guarantee would get 30, 40,000 views. I just got to teach somebody something really cool every single time. I could teach you right now a secret ChatGPT hack and it would go freaking crazy. And guess what? It doesn't do anything for my business. Maybe it gets some people on my email list, and that's why I do those types of pieces of content maybe once or twice a month, right? Just to grow my list. But I learned very quickly that only teaching people things puts you in the friend zone. And that's not where you want to be. Okay. So it's really important that you understand this will continue to grow and adjust. And you have to have a strong enough mindset to do that. Because if you keep putting yourself down saying, well, I'm doing everything, I'm doing all the things, and it's just not working, it's a wrong mindset. Wrong mindset. All right. So I got an action step for you, and then I have an announcement. So now that you got the basics down, because these are the basics, it is that simple. I didn't say it was easy, but I said it was simple. Okay. It's time for you to take some action. So I want you to pick one pillar. Remember, we talked about your pillars, and brainstorm 5 ideas around that one pillar. Make sure it points back to your transformation that you provide, right? And then schedule time. Put it on your calendar. All right. Put it on your calendar. Invite your spouse so they know you're busy at that time. Okay. Invite your kids, whatever. Put it on your calendar to batch create some content around it. If not, you're going to continue to live on the hamster wheel of making content every single day. Okay. And if you are ready to dive deeper into building that content strategy, that marketing plan, and what gets you sales while freeing up your time, I've got a special invite for you. If you've not already registered for the Social Success Challenge, we go live on the 16th, which is Monday. So the live challenge starts September 16th. It is the ultimate challenge to take you from exhausted with your marketing strategy to confident and clear in 30 days. Because everything we talked about today, all of those steps are part of your marketing plan. And 9 times out of 10, you probably don't have a marketing plan, right? You took a course that taught you some basics about Instagram or whatever. You've been watching some YouTube, watching some TikToks, and you don't have an actual marketing plan. So there is a disconnect somewhere. If you are producing content like a mad person and not getting a result from it, there's a reason, right? And so my goal with this challenge is every day for 30 days to help you build that plan from scratch with confidence, because confidence and clarity is what will drive sales, not viral videos. Okay. And so part of the reason you might not be showing up the way you need to show up is confidence. The only way to build confidence is to do the damn thing. No one's born with confidence. You build it through action, right? And if you're desperately trying to figure out what's going wrong in your business, slowing down to speed up is the way, okay? Because you'll continue to stay in that hustle, focus mode if you don't get clear and concise on your marketing plan, okay? So just to tell you guys real quick, Social Success Challenge, 30-day challenge. Every single day, you'll get an action step from me. So we're going to start from step 1 every day, a very small action step, because right now you're already overwhelmed with the amount of content and everything you have to do. So every day, I'm going to give you a small action step for you to work on, and we're going to build your marketing plan for your business together. So that action step will include a small training. I'm keeping them 10 minutes or less, just to walk you through what the action step is for the day, why it's important, how to do it. I've got some templates and things that will help you kind of speed things up. And then we have a community support, because right now you probably have a ton of questions in your business and you might not have anyone to ask them to. So with the challenge, there's a community. We'll have a questions feed where you'll be able to drop questions through the challenge for me. I'll be in there plugged in with you every day. It's been a long time since I've done a live challenge. They're a lot of work for me. So I don't do them often. If I were you, I would take me up on this. Tier 1 and 2 have already sold out. We got about 20 left on tier 3. Okay. I did put it in my stand store for those of you that are watching on TikTok. I haven't had it in my stand store for the last couple of weeks because I really, I'm limiting the amount of people that are in there because of the level of support I'm giving. So I didn't want it in my stand, but with the hurricane coming, I don't want you to DM me and it take me 2 or 3 days to get back to you and you lose your spot. So if you're on TikTok and you want to join us for the challenge, it's not too late. I wouldn't wait, because if you see, it will go up by $100 once we push that threshold. Okay. And for those of you that are on Facebook or IG, you can also go to my stand store, or you could drop success in the comments and I will get you the link. My autoresponder usually picks that up, but live starts Monday. And I can tell you right now, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you continue to watch these trainings and not implement what you're learning, you're not going to get a different result. If you continue to post content without a marketing plan, you may make a sale here or there, but you're never actually going to reach that goal because you don't know what the hell you're doing. And I love you. And that's why I tell you that so bluntly. This is not this is not easy stuff. Okay. This is not easy stuff. You may or may not have went to college for marketing like I did. And that's the hard part, is that maybe you got into this business for a little extra income. You didn't realize how much strategy really goes into marketing. And so that's my goal with the challenge, to teach you that in bite-sized, digestible action steps for you to be able to implement in your business. Okay. So again, if you're on Facebook or IG, drop success. If you're on TikTok, you can grab it at my stand store. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions for you guys. If you have any additional questions, feel free to drop them now. And I'm going to get those answered for you. Let's see. So I'm going to start with IG. Too generic, specifically with MRR gurus all over the place. Correct. He's absolutely correct. So, that is, I am not, dissing MRR. I started my business in June of 2022. For those of you that don't know, I originally started a social media management agency. So I came out of corporate doing digital marketing for 180 something locations in corporate. So that was my first business. I did social media management, and I had a team of VAs that helped me, and we managed 6, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. And I realized very quickly that, I wanted to get more into digital products because services take a lot of your time, right? I did, purchase Roadmap. I think Roadmap is a really good business development course for a beginner. I'm never going to say anything negative about it, but the problem is these courses were created to teach you how to create your own business. And too many people have not made anything of their own. Too many people are just promote the course. And what happens is, and I made a lot of money with that, but the reason it worked for me is because I already had an audience that I had credibility with for marketing. So when I promoted a marketing course, it made sense. Okay. But for you, it might not be making sense. And so that's where you have to stop being generic. You have to get very specific in your content and stop second guessing that you have something to offer people. Okay. Because right now you're probably doing what every other person is doing that is selling the same exact thing as you. And that's not going to work. So I'm really glad that you said that, because that is something I see in that space, that it's not working. It's not working. Okay. How do you get around the result in your content when you haven't made any sales yet? So a couple things. One, I like to tell, students I work with that maybe haven't had a result or haven't had a sale just yet, to storytell. Use a lot more storytelling content, right? What has that transformation internally been like for you? But also speaking future forward, right? So talking about this is how I'm going to do XYZ, right? So speaking future forward for that. And those are the best ways, honestly, to really show that. It's hard to show a transformation, right? But there's other ways. So Neil, like maybe let's say you're trying to help Gen Xers make, some extra money to save for retirement, and they specifically want to travel, and they're not going to be able to travel because their 401k is going to run out, right? So we showcase the opportunity more. So speaking to them like, all right, you started saving for retirement 40 years ago. You've been loyal to this job for 30 years. And now you're looking at it and you'll never be able to travel like you always dreamed of, because there's not going to be enough, right? Flights have gone up 20%, blah, 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 blah. And then showcasing that opportunity. What if you could just bring in an extra $500 a month? Would that allow you to travel like you dreamed of, right? Showing them what is possible. And then always bringing back, I always tell anyone that I'm talking to be honest, be transparent. Stop posting content saying that you're making $900 a day, working 2 hours a day, if you haven't made $900 a day. Okay. You need to keep it transparent and honest and say, it's possible to make this. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not the compliance police, but I've been doing a lot more research just for my own business's protection on the FTC guidelines and things like that. And if I were you, I would definitely start, using the word like the opportunity, the possibility, things like that, especially when it's not something you can produce a result to show. But you really need to paint that opportunity for them. And the only way to do that is storytelling. Okay. Let's see. All right. I don't think we have any comments on Facebook. Let me get the comments on TikTok. I hear the rain coming big time. So I'm going to try to keep this quick. Let's see. I got to flip the camera. All right. And if anybody has to hop off, I'm going to answer TikTok's comments. And I really hope to see you in the challenge, because if you're frustrated with this, you've got to slow down to speed up. Okay. And that is what my goal is with the challenge. So let me see. I hear the weather outside is getting raging. All right. Do we have any questions on TikTok? Let's see, I'm looking. Tanya said, that is me. Okay, so Haley says the just stopping because you're overwhelmed and don't know what to do next. 100%. And that's for everyone, right? It's a very common thing. Analysis paralysis, it's real. It's real. And especially as an entrepreneur, a lot of times if you're that person that, is I'll just say like me, my brain is going 24/7. Like I have ideas for things I want to introduce for the next year. And my coach, because I believe every coach should have a coach, is like, you need to slow down. You need to slow your roll. Like you're launching things left and right. I've already got like plans for years. My brain's always going. It's always going. And so it's very hard to turn it off. And so you add daily content creation to that. Oh my gosh, it's like I just shut down. I am all or nothing. I'm either working like a mad person or I am not doing nothing. And a lot of you are probably the same way. And so that feeling of just like, I can't even think straight today, I'm just going to sit on the couch and do nothing, is real. And that analysis paralysis comes in when you're burnt out. Okay. I see some questions on IG, so I'm going to come to you guys in just a second. Oh, so excited to see y'all in the challenge. Yes. Right there in my stand store. I see somebody ask, where can I grab it? Be successful with me. I am too generic. So one exercise you can do, and for those of you that stuck around for this, I'm glad you did, because this can help you a lot, is if you feel like your content is too surface level or too generic, try to go 3 levels deep. Okay, 3 levels deep. So maybe you write a hook that says, here's exactly how you're going to stop living paycheck to paycheck, right? That's your hook. Go another level. How can you explain those words, right? Here's how I am going to stop living paycheck to paycheck by June 2025. So we went a little bit deeper, and then go one more level. Here's exactly how I'm going to be able to go to the grocery store without, fear of my card being declined or checking my bank account by June of 2025, right? So we went like another level deep. That is how you're going to not sound like everyone else, because everyone is saying paycheck to paycheck. Everyone is saying, the same time freedom, blah, blah, blah. That is how you're going to go. That takes a little extra time. And the only way you're going to be able to do that successfully is if you're batching and planning your content. If not, you're going to spend even more time every day. But if you can start going 3 levels deep, golden. Yay, Tammy made it. Let's see. Tanya says you are good at telling the truth. And that's one of my pillars of my business is transparency. Because everyone wants to hear what they know they need to hear. They might not like it, they might not swallow it easy, but everyone knows they need to hear what they need to hear. That's what changes your life. That's what changes your mindset. Not me just fluffing you up and being a cheerleader. So I try really hard not to trigger people in my content to where they're like, what a bitch. I can't believe she said that. But I do believe honesty is the most important policy and being transparent with you, because if people just keep telling you it looks good, it looks good, it looks good, and it's not doing something, you're going to keep feeling like something is wrong with you. And I never want you to feel like something is wrong with you. You are created the way you are created, and you are perfect the way you were made. But you just need the motivation to figure out how to show up as you. And that is transparency and authenticity are the two most important things in my business. So I'm glad that it's hopefully well received. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm so glad Cynthia made it. Let's see. All right. What kind of digital? I'm from the Philippines. I want to learn more about the digital world. So Shai, you can connect with me in the DMs, but I just did a training about content strategy. Anyone that is just hopping on or maybe hopped on late, the full recording of this training is always in my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. So you can find that link in my stand store. If you're on Facebook or IG, you can drop the word group. If you're on TikTok, the keyword doesn't work, so you can find it in my stand store. But all of my recordings are in there for the last 2 years. I've done free trainings every single Wednesday at noon CST. You can literally go in there and search a topic: branding, ideal client, avatar, what sales, whatever you want to search. And there's probably a training around it. So if you did just hop on late and you missed the whole training, feel free to jump in there and get the recordings. It's free. And every week I do a free coaching Friday thread where people can drop questions. I give very specific guidance. I don't hold back. I don't gatekeep. So Shai, if you want to jump in there, I'd be happy to, help you with that. Too much questioning myself. Charles, that's always, right? We all question ourselves. And even at the level of success or whatever you define success as, because everyone's definition is different, you're going to question yourself again. And a lot of times when you're about to level up in your business, for those of you that maybe have had sales, but you've been stuck at 1,000 a month and you're like, how am I ever going to get to 5? When you're about to level up, shit gets challenging. You start to question yourself again, right? So when I went from 1,000 to 5,000 a month, I was ready to like burn the whole business down, because I was like, why is this so hard? Why that'll never happen for me. What an idiot for me to think that would even happen. Right? That's what I was telling myself. And then when I went from $5,000 to $10,000, same thing. I was like, this is a joke. Like people, I actually sent, it's funny because the people closest to you are not going to see your vision, and it's not their job to see your vision. It's your job. Right. But I actually sent my mom not a pamphlet, but a presentation that I had created to send to a big corporate company that was asking me to do a consulting day with them, and asked her to proofread it for me, because I had Grammarly read it. But then going back, I was just so nervous. And my mom was like, you think people are going to pay you that? There's no way. I mean, that people closest, they don't understand it. It's not that they want to put down on you most of the time. They don't understand it, and it's not their job. So you are questioning yourself. And a lot of times that's because other people might be questioning you. That is when you need to get some AirPods. You need to put them in and stay in that lane and tune all of that out. Okay. Tune all of that out. Let's see. All right. I think I got most of the questions on TikTok. Let's see. Love your content. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. We had a couple more questions on IG, and then I'm going to run because I hear the hurricane coming outside. If you have not already jumped in the challenge, if you're on IG or Facebook, you can drop the word success. If you're on TikTok, it's at the top of my stand store. I really hope to see you in the challenge. This is for 30 days worth of coaching, you guys. I mean, I don't know if you've looked into coaching or getting a mentor, but it just doesn't happen, right? And the reason I'm not charging way more for this is because I want you to get that clarity in your business. I want to serve that person that is frustrated right now and just can't seem to figure it out. And by slowing down the speed up, you're going to start to see those results. So I really hope to see all of you in the challenge. Can you state the 3 pillars again quickly? So your pillars need to be around your ideal client and what transformation you provide. Okay. So maybe a business coach, their 3 pillars might be, sales strategies, mindset, and productivity. Maybe a health coach, might be nutrition, fitness or workout plans, and mindset. A lot of times mindset goes back into everything, right? And I actually did a whole Facebook post on this the other day. I did a comparison between weight loss and business, running a business. Because for those of you that don't know, I have very long weight loss history. I lost 100 pounds, through nutrition alone. And then obviously I've been in business for 2 years, and they're very much the same. You have to have the mindset to stick it out no matter what happens, right? You have to be passionate enough for you to actually go through with it, right? How many of you have started a weight loss journey? You lost 15, 20 pounds and then you have a cheat day and you're like, well, I messed it up now. I might as well just keep messing it up. And then you gain more than you lost. Yeah. Same thing with business, right? You take one day off because you're burnt out. You're frustrated because you don't have systems. You are the system. And then you're like, I'm just not cut out for this. It's very similar. They're like the same thing, pretty much mindset wise. So you'll very often see mindset as a pillar in, all content strategies, especially if you're helping someone with the transformation. Let's see. How does the challenge work, please? Is there a class every day? Okay, I'm glad that you asked this because I know this is something people were going to check out. So when you join the challenge, you get access to my back office, and it's very much set up like a course. Okay. So there is already some training modules in there for you and just some information for you to know before the challenge. Okay. Now, for those of you that are already in it and you're like, well, nothing's unlocked. It's not going to unlock for you until midnight on the 16th. And I did that on purpose. I purposefully left all of the modules locked until midnight that night because I don't want you going through it right now and overwhelming yourself and going, oh, this is too much. I quit before we even get started. Okay. So on the 16th, the first module will unlock. And there will be a 10-minute or less training video, very quick. I want you to be able to take action with this. I don't want it to be hours long. And I'll give you an action step and I'll tell you how to do it, why it's important, what it's going to do for your business, all of those things. I'm going to give you steps on how to do that. So those modules they will be available in the back office. So if I have a lot of people in South Africa, Australia, Canada, all the different time zones. So if you work during the day and you can't do that action step until the nighttime, it's okay. It's there for you. Okay. I did have one lady that was going on her honeymoon. She's going to be a week behind. That's okay. All right. So it'll be there, but every day you'll get one action step. And then in the community section, the hub, we will have a feed that says day 1 questions, and you'll be able to drop questions there about that certain thing to get guidance, or if you need help putting it into your business, something along that. And then I also, because those of you that have ever done any master classes with me, I love Trello. Don't worry, I have a training to show you how to use it if you've never used it. It's a free project management tool, but I've also created a Trello board for you to be able to track your progress throughout the challenge. So you'll be able to mark off day 1, mark off day 2, mark off day 3, so that you can stay organized, because staying organized in your business is just as important as showing up, right? So I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any other questions, please let me know. If anyone else has any other questions about the challenge, let me know. But don't worry, the trainings are not live, so you don't have to worry about them being a certain time. And if you have something going on during the challenge, like you're going on your honeymoon and you're going to miss a couple days, it's okay. You have lifetime access to the challenge. So I give lifetime access when you're in my master classes and things like that, because as someone with severe ADHD, I have to go back and listen to things multiple times sometimes. So I know a lot of others are like that as well. What if you feel like you're getting left behind? So if you slow down, let's say, let me read this one more time. What if you feel like you're getting left behind? Like if you slow down, that so many people you have already sold to, nobody will want it from you. Okay. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to business, leveraging your time and compressing time is so important to get to where you have to get, right? But if you don't slow down to speed up, you're going to run into a brick wall. Okay. So that was actually what happened to me in my first business. I took off. Like I had contracts out the wazoo. It was booming. And then I ran into a brick wall and was like, well, I don't have any systems set up. I don't have any workflows set up. I don't have any funnels set up. So what started happening was it was just chaos. And I started losing sales because there was no follow-up. I didn't have time to follow up with people. So by slowing down the speed up, I'm not telling you don't post anything for 30 days while you're in this challenge. Hell no. I want you to keep working your business. But if you are ever going to take that step back, be able to, leave your phone in your room on a Sunday and stay completely unplugged with your family, or not be worried about getting content at the barbecue, if you're ever going to be able to unplug from your business to actually enjoy it, you are going to have systems and plans. Okay. Systems and plans. Hacks, Instagram hacks and trending audios are not going to get you there. And so that's my goal with this, is for you to slow down and build that plan for sustainability. Because right now you might want to warp speed your way to 5 figures, but what happens if you do and you get there and you can't handle the business that you've got? You're going to run into a brick wall. You're going to end up losing business and you're going to lose trust. And that's what was happening to me. I was starting to lose people's trust. And like I said, that was 2.5 years ago from experience, but it is really important for you to be building these systems, because if you don't have systems in your business, if you don't have plans in your business, you are the system. You are the whole system. So that means when you don't show up, if you get sick or a hurricane happens or something like that, your business is shut down for the day. Your doors are closed. And so that's the purpose of the challenge. So I would not be afraid of getting left behind, because you should be building something for your ideal client, your dream ideal client. And a lot of those people you already sold to, they don't know their ideal client yet. They don't, and if they do, they're not the same as yours. So this is where we really think about building something that is sustainable and long-term, not just, oh, I got to hurry up and make the sale today. And that's the point of the challenge, is to teach you actual marketing plan that's based on marketing principles, not just algorithms, because the algorithms are going to change like the wind. And if your entire marketing strategy or content strategy is built upon the algorithms, you're already losing. You might not be losing today, but you're going to be out of business the next time it changes. So it's really important for you to build a marketing plan that is built on principles and evergreen. So I hope that helps. All right, guys, I am about to have to jump off. Let's see. Where are you located? I'm in Mississippi. You're putting TikTok on blast now, so now they're giving you views. That's funny. All right, guys. I do have to run. I really hope to see you inside the Social Success Challenge. It's going to be amazing. I've been finishing up the content now for it. And for 30 days to be really plugged into your business, you will reap the rewards of it for a very, very, very long time. So I hope to see you guys in the challenge. Oh my gosh, Kimberly's in New Orleans. Girl, you better evacuate or something. It's way worse over there, but stay safe. All right, guys, I got to go. I will see you inside. And until next week, bye, everyone.